He should feel that it's his best life because it's the only life he's got. It is his own.
He shut himself off from the rest of the world, so he never called for me or Daniel up here.
Every story has two sides. But what happens when both sound like the truth? Anatomy of a Fall, 2023, isn't just a courtroom drama.
La musique était juste très forte. J'ai compris que ça allait pas s'arrêter.
It's a psychological dissection of truth, love, and storytelling itself.
Yeah, the relationship that I don't have with him is what you mean to say.
I didn't say that. No.
A man falls from a window. His wife says she didn't do it. But as the trial unfolds, the question becomes, does the truth even matter anymore if no one wants to believe it? Let's break down the anatomy of guilt, memory, and manipulation, one testimony at a time. In a quiet chalet in the French Alps, novelist Sandra lives with her husband Samuel and their 11-year-old son Daniel, who is partially blind. The story begins with a simple sound, a loud argument, music blasting, then silence. Daniel takes his dog for a walk in the snow. When he returns, his father is lying on the ground, motionless, blood seeping into the white powder. The fall was from the attic window. Accident, suicide, murder. No one knows. But soon, everyone will have an opinion. The police arrive, methodical and cold. They photograph, measure, and note inconsistencies. The angle of the fall, the direction of blood spatter, the position of Samuel's body, none of it quite fits. And then there's Sandra. Calm, composed. Maybe too composed. Her alibi is simple. She was napping downstairs while Samuel was renovating the attic. But the evidence doesn't rest easily. There's bruising on Samuel's head, inconsistent with the fall. No fingerprints on the railing. And worst of all, a recorded argument from the day before. In it, they fight bitterly. About parenting, about art, about success. Samuel accuses her of turning their lives into fiction. Sandra accuses him of wasting his. It's ugly, intimate, real. And now it's evidence. Sandra is charged with murder. The courtroom becomes a stage, and everyone's playing a role. The prosecutor paints her as manipulative, ambitious, and cold. He reads from her novels, implying they're confessions in disguise. He accuses her of jealousy, of emotional cruelty, of pushing Samuel to despair. Every gesture, every glance becomes performance. The judge listens silently. The cameras click. Even Daniel watches, torn between love and doubt. The line between fact and fiction blurs. Sandra insists she loved her husband, but also admits he was difficult, volatile, depressive. The truth starts to look like a Rorschach test. Everyone sees something different, and no one can prove anything. The trial forces Sandra to relive every corner of her marriage, and for the audience, it becomes the real crime scene. We learn that Samuel and Sandra's relationship was both intellectual and destructive. They were writers, competing for relevance. When Samuel's career stalled, resentment grew. He accused her of stealing his life for her books. She accused him of using depression as an excuse for failure. Their home, once a creative haven, became a war zone. Even their son, Daniel, became collateral damage in their emotional battles. Yet despite everything, Sandra never seems monstrous, just human. Honest, sometimes brutal, but not cold-blooded. That's what makes Anatomy of a Fall so disorienting. You believe her, then you don't. You want to understand, but maybe there's nothing to understand. Daniel becomes the emotional core of the story. He's too young to grasp the legal arguments, but old enough to sense the tension beneath them. He remembers things differently. A tone, a phrase, a silence. His loyalty to his mother clashes with his memory of that day. The prosecutor uses him as a weapon, a fragile, uncertain witness torn between truth and love. There's one haunting moment. Daniel listens again to the recording of his parents' fight. The sounds of anger, confusion, and pain echo in his headphones. You can see it. He wants to believe his mother, but doubt keeps whispering. In the end, Daniel must make the impossible choice: to trust his memory or his heart. His testimony could save her or condemn her. The question becomes, what do we owe to the truth when the truth might destroy someone we love? The defense calls experts, forensic scientists, psychologists, each one more uncertain than the last. Was it a fall? Was it a push? Was it suicide? Every answer opens a new question. The prosecutor's case begins to unravel under its own weight. Too many assumptions, too little proof. But Sandra's behavior continues to haunt the courtroom. She doesn't cry. She doesn't beg. She doesn't fit the mold of a grieving widow. And that, in the eyes of the jury, becomes suspicious. Because society loves empathy, but punishes composure. As the trial drags on, it stops being about evidence and becomes about interpretation. The truth, it seems, is no longer something to be discovered. It's something to be chosen. When the verdict finally arrives, it doesn't feel like justice. It feels like exhaustion. The jury finds Sandra not guilty, but the relief is hollow. The courtroom breathes out, the cameras flash, the crowd disperses. But what does not guilty mean? Innocent? Or simply unproven? Sandra walks free, but something inside her has already been sentenced. To doubt. Forever. Later, back in the chalet, she sits alone. The snow falls softly outside, as if the world has moved on without her. Daniel comes to her. He doesn't say anything. He just sits beside her, silent, tired, but close. The silence feels heavier than any verdict. Because maybe, in the end, the truth doesn't set us free. It just refuses to leave. Anatomy of a Fall isn't about who killed Samuel. It's about how we construct meaning, how we rewrite our lives like novels to make sense of chaos. The trial becomes a mirror, reflecting each character's deepest fear. Sandra fears being misunderstood. Samuel feared being forgotten. Daniel fears learning the truth. And the audience? We fear realizing that truth might be unreachable. Director Justine Triet uses ambiguity not as a trick, but as truth itself. The sterile courtroom, the cold mountain air, the clinical dialogue, it all reinforces the idea that objectivity is a myth. Even the film's title, Anatomy of a Fall, suggests dissection, not of a body, but of a moment, a life, a relationship. What caused Samuel's fall, gravity, despair, or love, twisted into resentment, will never be known. And maybe that's the point. Because in real life, justice isn't about finding the truth. It's about agreeing on one that's convenient. Anatomy of a Fall is a masterpiece of ambiguity. A story where every answer feels like another question. It's not a mystery to be solved. It's a confession from all of us. Because we all fall in different ways. Some from windows, some from grace, and some from the stories we tell to survive. Thanks for watching the Pulse movie. Subscribe for more psychological thrillers and award-winning dramas. Explained one heartbeat at a time.